Hey, I'm Jennings at 2014 StarChefs.com Rising Star. Welcome to my restaurant here in Providence, Rhode Island, Farmstead. We're going to make my baked potato gnocchi dish with help from my friend, the VitaPrep 3. Let's get cooking. We've baked some potatoes off in a 400-degree oven until they're perfectly tender. When we take them out of the oven, we want to make sure that they are releasing as much of their steam as they can. We want that moisture to evaporate so that we end up with a nice dry gnocchi. We're actually going to make the dough through the meat grinder, which is fairly unusual. It's the way that I like to do it. Provides a really nice fine grind on the potato, and in turn makes a softer, more supple dough at the end. So we'll scoop out that potato, still hot. If you get a little bit of skins in there, it's okay, but you do want to reserve these skins for later because that's what's going to make the flour. So these are the skins that we've saved from the baked potatoes. We're actually going to take these skins, put them in the dehydrator for 48 hours at a nice low temperature, let them get really crispy, like this, and that's basically what we end up with for our flour. I'm going to go ahead and grind the potato through the meat grinder. So obviously you can do this with a ricer as you would traditionally at home, or some sort of other grater, like a cheese grater for your potatoes. I just really like the way that it comes out through the meat grinder. Okay, so we've got our dough here, the base of our dough, the ground potatoes. To this we're going to add a few different things. We basically want to start by making a well in the middle. Okay, we've got 1 egg. I'm going to crack that into the middle of our dough, making sure not to get any shells in it, of course. Then I have some all-purpose flour. We're just going to add a little bit of it at a time to incorporate it, not all at once. So I'll just do a little sprinkle over the top to start. I also have another flour here. This is a corn flour, and this is a toasted corn flour that we make here in-house, similarly to how we're going to make the baked potato flour, which you'll see in a second. For the last flour that we're going to add to our gnocchi, we're going to make our own baked potato flour. So with those skins that we've dehydrated and made crispy, we're going to blend them in the Vitamix, and that's going to make a flour, and we'll add that to the dough as well. What we find is that the motor on the Vitamix is so powerful that it helps us develop a really fine grind on the flour. I don't know that we'd be able to do that in other machines necessarily. And also the speed at which the Vitamix moves really helps break down the potato skins into basically a powder. So that's how we make our flour. We're now going to also incorporate that into our dough. Again, not all at once. Now we're just going to gently incorporate all the ingredients here. All of our flours and our egg, potato. And you'll be surprised how much flour the dough will actually take. Once we get down to moldable dough, we're going to add some cheese. This is Parmigiano Reggiano, but you can add whatever you like. Pecorinos are great. I used about 3 ounces. We've basically got our dough here as close to kind of the finishing product as we want. So we're going to let that dough rest before we roll it a little bit. And in the meantime, we'll make our crema for the gnocchi dish. So in this crema, we're using a cave-aged taleggio. We're using some fresh sour cream, some cream cheese, and some heavy cream. That's it. So again, we'll start slow, build our way up. This is what we're looking for right here. Kind of luscious, silky. The cheese is really going to help give it a kind of nice round mouthfeel to it. And you get a little bit of tartness from the sour cream and the body from the heavy cream. Okay, so now we're going to roll out our gnocchi. We've got the dough that we've been resting here. So basically, at this point, it's all by hand. Once we're at a consistency, appearance that's uniform, we'll cut it into the proper size. You can go bigger or smaller depending on what you want to do. Usually we like gnocchi that's a little bit smaller than the size of a quarter. And then we're taking the gnocchi with the cut side facing away from you, and with a fork rolling it along the gnocchi board. And that's going to give us really perfect little gnocchi every time. So we've got simmering water that has a little bit of olive oil in it. Important that you not boil these, but that you just simmer them. I'm going to place 6 or 7 on a spider at a time. Just kind of lower them in. They take just a couple minutes, really not very long. Okay, so as you can see, the gnocchi is starting to float to the surface. It's telling us that it's approaching the end of its cooking process here. So once the gnocchi are cooked, we're gonna go right onto an oiled tray, sheet tray. The process now that these have cooled is that we're gonna just pick them up in a saute pan, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of butter. So we're just gonna get a little bit of browning on the outside, that's the goal. Really at this point all we're doing is just crisping it up a little bit. We're just gonna take those, put them on our fry plate here to eliminate excess grease. Then we'll go plate. Okay, so let's plate up that beautiful gnocchi that we've got now. Here we have just a real simple, nice roasted, char roasted tomato sauce that we've made. That's gonna be the base. Then our gnocchi goes down right on top of that. Got that beautiful crema, that's gonna go right over the top. Okay, then we've got some of that potato skin that we saved from the dehydration process. We're gonna use that for garnish. So this is a chorizo that we make in-house that we've just cooked off, basically minced up super fine. Then a little bit of grated Parmesan, that same parm that we put in the gnocchi dough, we're gonna just grate a little bit over the top. And lastly, what's a baked potato without scallion? And a couple pieces of garnish. So this is our baked potato gnocchi with the taleggio crema, made with help from my friend, the Vita Prep 3.